G'day, I'm Bill Daly from New South Wales in Australia, and I'm a fourth generation farmer, young New South Wales, and we farm around 1,200 hectares, broadacre cropping, merino sheep for wool, prime lambs for meat, and beef cattle. And also one of my wonderful passions that I've been able to do on my farming journey has been to get some life back into the land. And that's been through the other thing that we do on our farm, which is production of humified compost, and then applying the compost and the compost teas into our soil. That really does give a wonderful lift to our crops, our pastures, and the animals that grow on the pastures. So it's all about a total holistic system that eventually lifts us to the next level of health in our human being body as well. So it's a pretty good lifestyle when you get it right. And over many years, my wife and I were always concerned about what was happening in agriculture, the way that we were putting more and more inputs into our cropping programs and our pastures with chemicals and pesticides and fertilizers, and our yields weren't changing that much. Diseases seemed to be getting ever increasing, and one night we were just sitting down and started discussing this at depth, and I said to Rhonda, I said, look, I reckon we're mining our soils, we're mining our natural resource. And when we came to that realisation, that's when we did some big changes. We really started to look at what we were doing, and it's been a wonderful journey ever since. The production of humified compost on our farm, it comes from all natural ingredients from our local area, so we don't import things from hundreds and thousands of miles away. It's waste products coming from piggeries, dairies, horse studs, that sort of type of thing for our manure inputs. Our straw comes from either our own farm or neighbours' farms or local district farms. It can be waste hay from a hay production season when it gets too much weather on it, or it can be, which we do sometimes, is contra deals. So we actually, farmer will bring us straw, we'll create compost with the straw, and he takes back some wonderful fertiliser as a compost. So that's another way we do it. But the wonderful thing about it is that you're doing a natural fertility system from your own district. You're actually building fertility in your own patch. And that is so important going forward in the world that we live in now, because we need to enhance all the things that we thought were waste products years ago and create that fertility and the biology that lives in fertility of that sort. So once you get that going, your root systems on the plants look great, your animals start to have better weight gains, better yields at the end of the day, and it's a much happier system to work under, and it's very how can I say, it's very attractive to other people. You start to get other people really getting interested in what's happening. So I'll go a little bit through how we do compost and how that humified compost system works. And we start with a base, a straw base, when we start originally making the compost, and the AeroMaster compost turner, which we have, starts to break the straw down, and we call that the synchronisation process, where we wet that straw, or could be green waste or any sort of carbon material, and that then is moistened to the stage where it's a malleable product, so that then when you apply your manures and your other products to that, they actually have a similar synchronisation. They actually gel together well. And once you get that right, then it's a monitoring process, and you monitor every day. Daily you take CO2, temperature and moisture levels, and it's a living system. It's a living process, an aerobic process, and we add other microbes to the process especially at the 3 to 4 week stage. We use a humifier, which then starts to build the humic acids and the humic ions, which are the base of fertility in the soil, the humus. And so as we come through that, we turn every day up for probably the first 3 weeks. And then as the process starts to become more concise, you may only have to turn once or twice a week. but it is a very monitored process because we are changing those waste products into something that is actually a true fertiliser for the soil. And that's what we want to work on. We're coming from a farmer base, so we're wanting to have fertility in our land. We're just not wanting to make a large waste a small waste. And then as that process goes through, once you get a finished compost, you then can, to the soil test, so we take a soil test and we will custom blend any other micronutrients that may be needed to actually have a complete blend for that particular soil. So we will do that at the end only, and the compost must be finished, but the compost is always the finished base product that we start with. So then we go and spread that on our land at a rate that's applicable to the type of soil that we're working with, and that could be different from wherever you are in the world. And then that is broadcast spread, either probably 6 weeks before sowing if you're into broadacre cropping or sowing vegetables. It can be done on turf farms, it's done on ovals for playing fields in shire councils, and our local shire council use all our products on their local fields and their roundabouts and things like that in town. We also then have compost tea extraction. So we actually take humified compost and we put a liquid through it and extract the nutrition out of that and make a liquid tea, so that can be liquid injected down to our sowing bed at sowing time. So we're actually putting biology right in the seed zone. And we also can spray it on pastures as just a broadcast spray spread. And it's all to enhance biology. That's the whole key to everything. Everything I do now on this farm is designed to enhance biology. No matter, even if we did have to use a chemical to knock down some grass or something, we would still put some sort of biological stimulant in that mix so that we are doing everything we can to enhance the biological system. And it really is a lot of fun. It's amazing how farming can be fun again. And when you pick up a small germinated root of a new crop and you see exudates around the first 3 or 4 root systems, you know, even after a week's germination, and you see that there's no burning tip from over nitrogenization in the plant, and it's a healthy looking plant, you know, it's a really great start to anything that's living. Probably one of the most exciting things that Rhonda and I have done as a farming family group has been holding seminars and workshops where we give our farm to an open forum and bring in some excellent guest speakers from overseas and Australia to just talk on what is happening in rural country life and what's happening on the farm and how people can take that information and use it on their own farming systems or in their own businesses. And to think that our first seminar, we thought we'd get 30 people and we got 160 people. That to me was recognition that there are a lot of concerns out there in the rural community and at community at large on the health of society and the health of the food we eat. So I think that's been the exciting thing about what we do. And considering that my family has been here on this farm since 1904, and I have a son and a daughter who are on the farm. My son's on a farm next door to me, and he has 2 young children, and my daughter has a young child as well. You know, we're here for a long while, and that to me is just paramount, that we have health in our system of farming.